Hi everybody, Roy here. I'm at the Chicago History Museum. It's very exciting. I've been here since last year when we planted the gardens, and I'm here with the team. This is the team, and this is Mallory and Susan. They're with Scott Byron in a high-level way. And I thought, and this is Casey with Vermont Gardening. I'm Roy from Northwind, and I want to share with you the story of how this became what it is today. The design of it. Scott Byron was basically responsible for everything that changed back then.
Indeed, we started very conceptually working with the museum and the group from Amaze Design. The museum wanted to bring attention to the grounds. They wanted to incorporate a history trail that would bring school groups, visitors throughout the grounds, and also bring attention to the building. They wanted to leave plenty of lawn space for users and also incorporate a multitude of plantings, native plantings, and something that would reflect off of the architecture and complement it well.
It really was a way to bring the education outside, and really to connect I guess the two spaces now, the indoor space and the outdoor space. So to use this as a tool.
So you created all the walkways, the way people move through here and everything. Responsible for all that.
Indeed, and the outdoor gathering spaces, and another very important part was connecting it to the rest of Lincoln Park in terms of what materials were used and the overall shape as well.
It was highly used before, but kind of scattered. It was Park District land.
Right, it's Park District land, so a good point, Roy. That was another key player in the overall picture. The Chicago Park District was one of the key partners in this.
Then I was asked to come in and just work with the ground layer, the perennials underneath trees, shrubs, the plantings up here by the, what do you call this area?
The plaza.
Event area,
The Grand Plaza,
yeah, the Grand
yes.
Plaza. So we put together plant patterns that would fit each style, and there was a Chicago interpretation of Chicago there.
Yes.
Through the whole trail, wasn't it? Interpreting the history of Chicago. So we did multiple plantings that kind of interpreted the growth of Chicago from a small community into the city it is now. And it was very exciting. And we had to make sure the plants had an idea of living in an area where they would have to be very strong survivors on their own in solid communities. And then when we were done planting, how would this be loved and cared for? Well, Casey's team and her group was invited in because they're gardeners. Casey's team is a wonderful group of people that understand plant relationships and care of plants. So Casey, maybe share with the group of everyone. So what happened the first year?
So my first time stepping into this space was mid-planting, right? We had none of the sod down yet. It was right after the big rainstorm, which was very exciting and redefined how some of the planting spaces were going to work. So coming in right at the edge of planting being installed and then being able to see how those plants are maturing in the space, how the water is running through the space. We have no irrigation here, so seeing what plants are going to be the strongest and the hardiest for that care moving forward, as well as seeing how it's being interacted with the public. We are the face of this garden whenever we're here, answering questions and pointing out different areas and how the design has impacted with the history story as well. This is year one in a brand new garden space in a Park District space, so that's a lot of people, that's a lot of transport, that's a lot of momentum, that's a lot of lawnmowers going back and forth, which means that a lot of our work this year has been on protecting a lot of the plants that are in this space from the invasion of weeds that always tries to come with soil disturbance. And then also testing the mettle of these plants to a certain extent, like how much weed pressure can they take before we come in, so that we're making sure that some nutrition is taking place with the soil and not too much soil disturbance, but also really, really watching from a water standpoint as well, which has been key in year one. Year two, our hardiest survivors from the water perspective will be here, so we'll have a little less pressure on us in terms of that, and it'll be more about the nuance of each planting bed and the subspecies.
I think this is my first time walking around since last year. And I gotta say, 90% of everything looks healthy.
Yeah.
There's some weak areas which you would anticipate in any new garden. And then we're kind of rethinking what kind of plants to put in some of those weak areas and why they became weak areas, besides just lack of water or whatever. It's looking at human pressure.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of human activities, bus stops,
Events, yeah, we have a lot of after-school groups coming in and playing. We have a lot of dogs coming through as well. So it's been a lot more about human pressure on this garden than it is nature's pressures.
Hey, they mentioned
And
the patio. Every week they have
event space
events
here.
Yeah.
on this patio, so
Which we
got a
want.
lot going on.
We want to make sure that those events are seeing the best side of the garden as possible, while still making sure we're being fair to everevery single planting bed in the space. It's a challenge, but it's a lot of fun as well to see how those plants
Yeah,
are.
I think it is. I think I like to add the fun part for all of us, because it is fun creating something that's from nothing, and then putting your best thoughts into it, and then seeing success and failure. And how we deal with things that haven't done as well as I anticipated, and what plants we bring in that would be better suited for that moment. I think that's what the walk around helped today.
It's exciting as well from our perspective to be seeing even more of these mixed perennial plantings taking place within public parks in general. Like, we're still very, this momentum is picking up, the movement of it is picking up, but it's still, I have to give a lot of credit to the History Museum and the donors and people who are involved, who took a leap on putting this into a Chicago Park District space. It takes a certain amount of vision and design and courage on the part of the museum in order to see the impact of what this creates, from not just the public involved in the space, but on a natural level as well. The pollinators that are here, the animals that are interacting with it, and providing that within a space that previously would have just been lawn is a beautiful thing. So it's fun to be able to be a part of that and to honor that legacy as it keeps moving forward. Hopefully we see a lot more installations like this.
Thanks, Casey. Thanks, Valerie, Susan. I think we had a good visit. Bye, everybody. Thank you. I thought I'd show you some of the patterns. If you go back to last August, we did a YouTube show about the planting of the garden. So here it is the first year. It's done very well, I think, considering all the interaction between people that are here. This is the event patio, the plaza. So I thought I'd show you some of the patterns. And they're largely larger groups. I use larger groups. This is Amsonia hubrichtii, Anemone pamina, Aster divaricatus, Carl Forster drifting between in the shade. The grass is Hacketacloa macra, and it's ended with Veronica, a white Veronica. I believe it's white candles right here in the end. But the reason for the bigger groups here, you can see Penstemon dark towers, Panicum ruby ribbons, Calamiris blue star, and then Perovsky little spire mixed with Echinacea prairie splendor, and it repeats it one group to the next. I break it up with Coreopsis agra. But again, back to the big groups. The big groups initially are easier to care for, but most of all, they're easily understood by a diverse group of people. So when you have many people with different ideas of what gardening is, they can interpret the bigger groups much easier, because it's similar to when we were using annuals in big groups. And then the idea is, as the garden matures, we're going to mix more plants in with the groupings to create more and more patterns. So as we go down there, we'll actually mingle more together, and that's the future of gardening. And that's what we'll do here. You can see again the Monarda bradburyana, and then I go to Allium Summer Beauty, and we end with Salvia Crystal Blue. Repeat the Calamiris and the Amsonia, and repeating the Penstemon dark towers with the Perovsky with the Echinacea prairie splendor mixed in. So it's a simple planting, yet I'm trying to think of a good beginning so it's easily identifiable and appreciated by the people here at the History Museum. Thanks, everybody. Bye.